Detroit Pistons fans, get ready to welcome a new addition to the coaching team, Fred Vincent. Known across the NBA as one of the best shooting coaches, Vincent has earned a nickname Shot Doctor for his exceptional ability to refine and improve players' shooting mechanics. Fred's journey began in the NBA as a player, but it's his coaching career that has made him truly stand out. He spent the last 14 years with the Pelicans. Vincent's played a crucial role in player development, helping enhance shooting skills of many notable players like Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Herb Jones. One of Vincent's most remarkable achievements is his work with Lonzo Ball. When Ball entered the league, his shooting form was unconventional and inconsistent, to say the least. But under Vincent's guidance, Ball's three-point shooting percentage jumped from 31.5% to nearly 39%. This is a testament to Vincent's expertise and dedication. Other than Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram saw a jump from 33 to 37. Herb Jones, probably his most notable increase, went from 33 to 42. Najee Marshall, 34 to 39, and Jose Alvarado, 29 to 38. He's shown that he can coach shooting, and he's got his work cut out with the Detroit Pistons. But Vincent's impact goes beyond just the stats. He's known for his meticulous approach, often starting with basic drills and focusing on finer details of shooting mechanics. His ability to connect with players and communicate effectively has made him beloved among coaches and players. Now as he joins the Pistons, Vincent is set to bring his wealth of knowledge and experience to help elevate the team's young talent. His joining marks an exciting chapter for the Pistons, and fans can look forward to seeing positive changes he'll bring to the team's shooting game. So, here's to Fred Vincent, our new assistant coach and shot doctor. We can't wait to see the magic he'll work on the court. Welcome to Detroit, Fred.
Klitenko, 49, is from Ukraine, and his nickname is the Ukraine Train. He was the 12th pick in the 1996 NBA draft and played collegiately at Wright State. He played 11 seasons in the NBA from 1996 to 2007, including stints with the Cavs, Celtics, Supersonics, and Kings. He averaged 6.5 points and 4.5 rebounds during his NBA playing career. He started off his coaching career by volunteering for the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, Indiana's D-League squad. After coaching there, he got called up to the big league club to become an assistant with the Pacers. In this role, he helped develop Roy Hibbert, who eventually became an all-star center in the Eastern Conference. This is, as one source puts it, perhaps Klitenko's largest success as a mentor and player developer. Vitali then returned to the D-League, now the G-League, as an assistant coach for the Dakota Wizards. He spent one season there before moving on to the Santa Cruz Warriors and spent one more season there. Klitenko then joined the Cavaliers as an assistant director for player development. He was a part of Ty Lue's staff from 2013 to 2018, even winning a ring in 2016. During his time in Cleveland, Vitali was known for working with Tristan Thompson and Ante Dzidzic. One source went on to say about Klitenko's work with Dzidzic, pre-game and at practice, Klitenko worked with Dzidzic one-on-one and helped him go from a player who looked overwhelmed at the start of the year to much more comfortable when he saw some playing time in March. In 2018, Vitali then joined J.B. Bickerstaff's crew in Memphis. This was right before the team drafted eventual Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr. Vitali remained in Memphis until he decided to rejoin Bickerstaff, this time in the Motor City. Player development and working with the bigs seemed to be Vitali Klitenko's specialty as a coach. It'll be interesting to see what he can do with the bigs on this current Pistons roster, such as Isaiah Stewart, and especially Jalen Duren. Can Klitenko help Jalen Duren reach his defensive potential? Only time will tell.
Let's welcome new assistant coach Luke Walton to the organization. Luke Walton coached the Warriors for 43 games when Steve Kerr was out, recovering from a back surgery. In that time, Luke Walton led the Warriors to a 24-0 start and a 39-4 record overall, gaining a lot of traction then where he eventually became a head coach. However, his head coaching record didn't entirely work out for him out with the Lakers. He spent the last 2 seasons as an assistant coach under J.B. Bickerstaff, who brought him from Cleveland to Detroit with him. I think that's really going to help build this culture. That was his first NBA job with the Warriors, and his performance as the interim coach got him a full-time head coaching job with the Lakers. After a job with the Lakers and the Kings, he settled back into an assistant position under Bickerstaff. So he had that freedom to explore an assistant coach and as a head coach, and then came back as assistant with JB Bickerstaff, and he'll continue to do that here. Obviously, the name Walton carries a lot. Walton is a 10-year NBA veteran, and of course, he's the son of Bill Walton, an NBA Hall of Famer and a grouchy commentator. So Walton, yeah, as we said before, he was the head coach for the Lakers, where there were ups and downs. They were kind of going through that interesting transitional period of starting to compete again when they got LeBron James, but still had a young roster, and things were kind of shaky. And I think people thought maybe LeBron wanted a different coach, and that's kind of what went on there. And then he was also the head coach for the Sacramento Kings. But talking about his assistant time with the Warriors, that was from 2014 to 16. Obviously, like I said, he served as an interim coach for 43 games in the 15-16 season when Steve Kerr was recovering, where they went on to win 73 games and set that single season record. Something about internally what the organization has said about Luke Walton. This is president of basketball operations, Kobe Altman. Luke is someone who truly embraces player development, a team-first mentality, and a history of creating winning basketball habits. That comes as no surprise, given his basketball background. Always was a higher IQ player, and I think that's shown throughout his time, and it's shown throughout his time as a head coach as well and an assistant coach. His first coaching gig, though, was as a player development coach for the South Bay Lakers, obviously the Lakers' G League affiliate. I think it's important to note on the fact that JB Bickerstaff is a big fan of this guy. Obviously, he was his assistant for 2 years in Cleveland, but there's a reason he's come back with him here in Detroit. And this is a quote from JB Bickerstaff. He said, "It's rare when you can strengthen your staff with someone of similar experiences and a passion for the game of basketball. Luke is someone who identifies with our 5 core values as a coach, but also traits he was recognized as for a player, both in college and in the NBA. I'm excited for our players to have another valuable resource to work with on the court as we continue to do things the right way for sustainable success." One thing we touched on a lot when we were going through this coach hiring process last season and this season, we talked about how important it would be to get a coach that really relates to those players. I think there was a lot of hype around those younger prospects that can do that, and I think JB Bickerstaff is going to do a good job at that while having a mix of being a little bit older, being a bit more serious, and getting these guys to act together. But Walton has always been a team-first player, team-first mentality, as we heard, and I think this is going to be really valuable to the organization, a guy that players can relate to, a guy that players can learn from. We've seen the impact that Jarrett Jack has had, how his relationship with Cade Cunningham has helped Cade's performances, how close those two are, how it helps him read the game. I think Luke Walton's just another fantastic option to have that players can talk to and listen to. Obviously has grown up with basketball his whole life, with the aforementioned Bill Walton being his father, played as a pro coach, just lives, breathes basketball, has a really great basketball mind, and still young enough, I think, to really relate to some of these players. Finally, Luke Walton has always shown to be flexible throughout his career. He said himself, "Well, you're always learning. As a player, as a coach, as a journalist, you keep an open mind, and you learn from the experiences you go through." And for me, that's been a lifelong journey. I was really happy to hear this from Luke Walton. I think it's a really positive take on life. I think, quite frankly, we can all take something away from, but most importantly for our purposes, I think the team will take a lot from this. And I think Luke Walton is just going to provide a bit of edgenuity. And I think he's going to provide a really creative edge to this organization. And I think that's something we've lacked for a really long time. I think we've done a great job at bolstering our assistant coaching staff. I think it's easy to get lost in the head coaching talks with everything that happened last year with Monty Williams, and now the new hiring of JB Bickerstaff, and Dwayne Casey was here for a long time. He was removed just recently, but now he's within that organization, a great basketball mind. Luke Walton, a great basketball mind, and great people as well, and people that want to be here. So without further ado, Luke Walton, we're very excited to have you here, and let's get to work.
Meet Kevin Burleson, one of the newest additions to our coaching staff. Burleson brings a wealth of experience and a strong reputation in player development and leadership. Let's dive into what makes him a standout coach. Kevin Burleson started his coaching career in 2014 with the Houston Rockets as a player development coach. He continued honing his skills with the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, where he was promoted to assistant coach in 2020. During the 2022 Summer League, Burleson showcased his coaching prowess by leading the Timberwolves as a head coach. Burleson made a significant impact on the NBA G League as the head coach of the Rio Grande Valley Vipers, the Houston Rockets affiliate. In March of 2023, he was named NBA G League Coach of the Month after leading the Vipers to an 8-2 record, securing a playoff spot and extending the franchise's postseason streak to 11 consecutive seasons. Burleson is known for his exceptional ability to connect with players and foster a positive team culture. His tactical acumen and dedication to player growth have earned him the reputation as a rising star in the coaching ranks. He's widely respected for his work in developing young talent and preparing them for the next level. A little bit more, he's got some connections to Detroit. He played for the Bobcats, where JB Bickerstaff's dad was the head coach. And his younger brother, Nate Burleson, played 3 years with the Lions from 2010 to 2013 as a wide receiver and return specialist. Burleson's already got roots in this team and with these people. I look forward to seeing how he can work on this young team. Thanks for joining us and welcome Kevin Burleson to Detroit. Let's go Pistons!
John Bear Bickerstaff, known to most people as JB, is the new head coach of your Detroit Pistons. He comes straight from a season where he led the Cavs to a 4th seed and a playoff series win before being let go by the organization. The 48-win season capped off a run where he turned an extremely young 22-win team into a perennial top-of-the-table Eastern Conference contender. He emphasizes defense, so it's no surprise that the Cavs were the #1 ranked defense in the entire league. But enough about the Cavs. What can he do here in Detroit? With 2 young lead guards in Cade and Ivy, he has expressed his desire to run an offense that doesn't rely on one guy to do the heavy lifting. Expressing interest to go back to what won the Pistons their last championship, he explicitly stated that the team ball, hard work, and locked-in defense will get us to the next level. He has high praise for the defensive potential of Durant Stewart, the vet leadership of Tobias, Beasley, and THJ, and the front office staff that now controls our destiny. If there's one thing I learned from JB's interviews, it's that he cares. He relates to the players on a personal level, and he prioritizes how to get the best out of every person on the roster. When asked about his goals for the team this season, he responded soundly with building an identity. Interactive coaching, emphasis on defense, and heart is what JB stands for, and I, for one, can't wait to see how this young team improves under his leadership.
Pistons fans, welcome back to your coaching staff, Sidney Lowe. Sidney Lowe as a player played for the Detroit Pistons for 1 year in 1984. You might know him as an assistant coach for this team. He served as an assistant coach in 2005 to 2006, once again in 2018 to 2021. And guess what, guys? JB Bickerstaff has brought back Sidney Lowe. He's on the coaching staff again, a familiar face around the city. I think that's where we have to start. I think it's really important to have familiar faces for these young guys and proven established assistant coaches like we already have done. Sidney knows the organization through and through as a player and as a coach. Sidney served here under Dwayne Casey, and Sidney knows Cade Cunningham and a few of these young guys. Just a little rundown on Sidney Lowe. Out of Washington, D.C., he attended North Carolina State from 79 to 83, and he was a point guard and a key member of the 83 team that won that NCAA championship. And he was a solid player in the NBA as well. He was drafted in the 2nd round in 1983, where he played for the Pacers, obviously played for the Pistons, the Hawks, and the Hornets, and then he transitioned to a coach. He always showed that he had a bit of a more high IQ mind on the court. I think we see that a lot with these 2nd round draft picks. He transitioned to coaching after retiring as a player, where he served as an assistant coach for several NBA teams, including the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Cavaliers, the Jazz, and of course, 3 times now with your Detroit Pistons. He did have a head coaching stint with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He served there from 93 to 94. He also came back to North Carolina State and coached there from 2006 to 2011. So just a really, really impressive resume here from Sidney Lowe. He's been around the block. Guy knows basketball. I know that's something you'd really want from your candidates as an assistant coach or from your coaching staff, but Sidney Lowe is a really proven basketball mind, and he's a tough physical guy. After North Carolina State, his head coaching stint there, he returned to the NBA as an assistant coach, whereas with the Jazz and the Wizards. But just talking a little bit about his style of coaching, how he likes to get his actions across. So he's known for his emphasis on defense and player development. And I think when you're looking at an assistant coach, one of the big check boxes you're checking is player development. In the Pistons case, you certainly need player development with the young squad we have, but you certainly need defense, having been the 29th worst defensive team in the organization. Drafting Ron Holland will help, but I think bringing Sidney Lowe back to the team will help as well. I think you saw that defensive grit he had when he was in his last state with the Pistons in 2018 to 21. Yeah, we were bad at defense, but I definitely think you could see a difference between when he was with the organization and the years prior when we were not there. I think the total effort was there, and then when he left, I think the effort significantly decreased. So he's really known for his emphasis on defense and player development. And throughout his entire career, as a player, as a coach, as an analyst, he's regarded for his really high basketball IQ, and not just that, but his leadership qualities. I think he just brings a certain stature to this organization that we're desperately needing. I think we had a really solid coaching staff with him under Dwayne Casey, two really respected guys, and also Black people in the city of Detroit. such a significant Black population and really represented the city. So I'm really glad we're bringing back a Sydney-level Black assistant coach to represent this city, and I think the city and the fans and the players can really resonate with him more. He's a leader. The Pistons need leaders. He really likes to emphasize on defense as he did when he was a player. I think Sidney Lowe is a great hire. Really happy to have a familiar face back in the organization. Welcome back, Sidney.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We truly appreciate it. Please consider liking and subscribing and letting us know what you thought about this video. We're going to be coming out with a front office staff member video as well, so please let us know what you liked or didn't like about this video so that we can continue or stop doing it for the next video. Follow us on all of our social platforms as we will be continuing to put out content leading up to the regular season, and throw the buffs on, Detroit, because the future is bright.